That's Pittsburgh football right there. 47% rush percentage this season since week 6. I mean, since week 12, rather, has really changed the complexion of what this offense looks like. Riding that offensive line, shuttling in these two big running backs, and really trying to take the fight to the opponent. This is Pittsburgh football, especially on a day like today.
Harris again, powering within about a yard of that first down marker. Third down coming up, Dan.
Yeah, just the thought of the rivalry and these two coaches, asking both of them, right? Hey, what's the viewpoint of the other organization? Is there hatred still? And both of them kind of froze and said, I don't know if it's hatred. There's always been that mutual respect. But it still felt like there was a little bit of dislike for each other.
I mean, Baltimore seems to feel like Pittsburgh didn't respect them. Mike says, hey, look, they just used that to get themselves fired up. I don't buy into all that. But you can tell he was intense about it.
On 3rd and 1, and they feed Harris 3 carries, and they just do get the first down. Harbaugh felt it used to be more hatred involved, especially because they didn't feel like the Steelers respected the Ravens.
Right.
Super Bowl kind of changed things.
Right, and he said we're the old Cleveland Browns, you know, and yes, the Super Bowl, and I think Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and those guys in the winning kind of started to change things from the Baltimore, at least the vantage point that Pittsburgh had for them.
Tomlin said he kind of missed the old days when, you know, they had Ray Lewis in here, Terrell Suggs,
the smile on his face.
Well, he said the introduction was a production all in and of itself, and it was. He used to light this stadium up from the get-go.
Rudolph kind of looks the snap into his hands and flips it in the flat. And around the edge, Warren flashing the speed in a sloppy track all the way into Baltimore territory. Got a nice block from Connor Hayward, the tight end.
This is called X-Solo swing, and Mason Rudolph is going to catch the ball and peek to his right to try to get George Pickens the football. The Baltimore Ravens take George Pickens away. Now, look how quickly he resets to Warren, and they've got lead blockers out front. This is a Kyle Shanahan 49ers play. The quick decision for Mason Rudolph pays off.
Yeah, look, Jaylen Warren, 56 receptions this year, which is 5th amongst running backs. He has really rounded out his game, and he really is the spark plug coming out of the backfield.
On the end around, Calvin Austin the third. Still Demused, but getting a chance here. The jet sweep. Nice pickup.
And who says George Pickens won't block? You see George Pickens right there and shielding off.
Others have said that.
That's true. That's true. And I was going to say it was rhetorical. I mean, yeah, some people said that he
there
won't
might
block.
Be someone in the booth who said that.
But you know what? And I'll tell you what. Speaking of George Pickens, Mike Tomlin furrowed his brow and said, "Hey, look, development is an ongoing process, and I am committed to this young man." And we are going to continue to work with him because what he does on the field is undeniable.
3 tight ends in the game. They fake it to Warren. Rudolph on the move, now flips it underneath to one of those tight ends. Hayward awkwardly grabs it and is able to pivot, flip those hips, and get the first down inside the 35.
Have you seen them like absolutely shrink their playbook in any way, shape, or form? I mean, look at this weather out here, and look at all the different forms of ball handling Mason Rudolph is having to execute. And right there, what a great adjust right there by Connor Hayward, the younger brother of Big Cam Hayward.
Lou, I think part of it is, in talking to Mike Tomlin, one of the reasons why they've decided to go today with Mason Rudolph was experience. He said he's played a lot of football, and I think you're seeing that with some of the play calling today.
Warren again. Spins for about 4. Laura?
Well, Chris, as you guys know, we're dealing with a very wet field down here, and the running backs, Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris for the Steelers, after that first drive and a couple of bobbles, they asked for more towels, but then they're trying to keep them dry, which of course is going to be the challenge all day long. They had a conversation with Mason Rudolph, and a lot of that was about how they could be more sure-handed. We're seeing that on this drive.
Laura, we were talking about how Harris and Warren have pushed each other. It's a friendly competition, but it's a competition to be the main guy here. And Warren's gotten, I think, more physical just with the presence of Harris.
Yeah, he's a different type of runner, much more explosive in a short area.
But not afraid to body slam dudes. Throw down underneath, and that's Deontay Johnson's 3rd catch already as the Steelers move the ball close to the red zone here.
I'll tell you, speaking of Deontay Johnson, who Mike Tomlin refers to as the route runner of his wide receiver core, he has really picked it up recently too. Both him and George Pickens over the past 2 weeks have really turned into a heck of a tandem in terms of what they can do and how they can threaten secondaries. And you're getting down here in this area where number 14's number is going to be called, George Pickens. You see him lined up in the slot here at the top of the screen.
No targets yet for Pickens. Harris, forward lean. He's no fun to tackle, and he moves the pile 9 yards.
This is something that the Pittsburgh Steelers do on offense. They're not trying to try and trick you. Watch, they're going to lead front side and pull that backside center. One back power. Najee Harris loves it. He hits it down the midline right behind that center in guard. It's become an identity play for this football team.
Harris closing in on another 1,000-yard season. Back-to-back seasons on the pitch. Powers down inside the 10. Steelers, I know they haven't peeled back the playbook a lot, but they're keeping it simple down as they get in scoring position.
I would say this. I think so far Najee Harris has 6 carries. This feels like a 20-25 carry day for Najee Harris. The way this offensive line has started to play, Lewis, you've mentioned it, and so far in this first quarter, this is a 20-25 carry game for 22.
Yeah, what's interesting about these two is, look, Najee's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Jalen Warren's already up above 9. So the 1-2 punch is in full effect.
Deliberate handoff to Harris. And they're being very sure about these things after the bobbles in the first couple series. Michael Pierce the tackle down at the 5.
You almost saw Mason Rudolph. Watch, he is going to, it looks like a little bit of a fake toss, but watch, he's going to hand this football off with 2 hands. That is a direct correlation to that first play when there was that fumble between him and Najee Harris. Every handoff should be with 2 hands today from both football teams.
Harris motioning around on 2nd and goal.
One-on-one right here.
Play clock at 2. Got to hurry. Just gets it off. Harris dives and scores. And the Steelers with a powerful drive. 12 plays, 76 yards to draw first blood on the road. Harris carrying the load.
The offensive line again. Najee Harris carrying the load, but I can tell you this right there. Isaac Seumalo delivered an absolute knockout shot on the pull, on the trap. Just perfect execution. That's exactly how Mike Tomlin wants it drawn up.
But Rudolph say we're going to ride the wave of this offensive line as run blockers. That's their strength. Certainly was on that drive. Harris already 8 carries. Tyler Huntley and the Ravens behind at home as the Steelers flex. Winner wins the division, 8 o'clock Eastern time, clinching at least wild card spot. Loser is eliminated. Baltimore Aquarium, Inner Harbor here. Here are the current seedings. Talked about the Ravens situation. The Dolphins so depleted. Out so many key guys trying to find a way against the Bills tomorrow to win the AFC East for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the Miami Dolphins are up against it, just so depleted from an injury perspective. And Buffalo right now, they can just see it. They can see the opportunity right in front of them, riding that running game. James Cook, Josh Allen. What a heck of a matchup it is down there in South Florida.
That drive, 69 of the 76 yards on the ground, ran it 10 times. And Harris with his 8th touchdown. That's a new career high, 7 each of his first 2 seasons in the league.
The touchdown that the Pittsburgh Steelers scores is great. So you pull James Daniels. That's going to get Patrick Queen to move. That allows Broderick Jones to climb up. Now watch Seumalo. This is called a trap block on Justin Madubuike. That is absolutely inside-out spectacular. You're putting one of the best defensive tackles in the game right on his back.
Yeah, that's not a trap block. That's a knockout. I mean, that is Pittsburgh football.
No doubt.
That's Pittsburgh football. That's what you mean, Chris, when you're talking about riding the wave of the offensive line. That's it right there.
See if the Ravens could get their running game going. Melvin Gordon, veteran, is the back. He's got the football.
He's not the running threat that Lamar is. Nobody in the history of the game is, maybe save for Michael Vick. But this offense really is going to still continue to run through the running game. Think about this. This organization has rushed for 100+ yards in 32 straight games. So eventually the running game is going to have to start clicking for them too.
Justice Hill in on 3rd and 7. Huntley has a lot of time for the pocket, but nobody open. Retreats and has to make a long throw, which is short hopped to Hill. Good coverage. And Joby eventually got near the quarterback, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, this defensive line here has been just spectacular so far. The front 7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, crowding the line of scrimmage and putting a lot of pressure on Tyler Huntley.
So Stout, his first boot, went 64 yards, back to punt again. This is a line drive kick that takes Austin back to the 21. Hesitated, but then takes off to the right and able to return it up near the 40-yard line. So nothing doing for the Ravens offense minus Lamar so far. Steelers back to work, up a touchdown.
Dunkin' Rewards members score big with a $2 medium hot or iced coffee every day. Scan the QR code or stop by your local Dunkin' to get it.
The Ravens fans has never been questioned. The judgment might be questioned today. You got to be hardcore. I mean, poncho sales are booming today, but it is windy, cold, nasty. This game has no playoff impact, and there's a lot of folks here.
It's just the way they like
knock
it.
The Steelers out, maybe.
Exactly. They get to knock out their rival, keep them home.
Salute to our crew. These are tough conditions for everybody on the job today. Laura down there on the sidelines. Harris back in the game after riding the wave of the offensive line all the way to the end zone last time. Got the football again. This rate, Najee's going to blow past 1,000 yards. This Pittsburgh offense, of course, very, very rare, especially for an organization like Pittsburgh to fire an offensive coordinator mid-season, but the bump has been pretty dramatic.
Yeah, and I think the simplest way to put the change in its impact is they've decided to go at you rather than trying to go around you. You know, they're strained, put a hat on a hat, the finish, and they've certainly put more emotion in, more play action, and they've tied things together. That's really what was missing for this offensive football team for the first 2/3 of the season.
Rudolph with the fake pitch in the perimeter. Very short throw to Hayward. And he's able to pick up a couple.
And you see the use of 3 tight ends right there, 3 tights and wide in the back. Heavy personnel, big personnel has been something that they've used a lot more of too since week 12.
Right.
And here they put big personnel in and still run a boot action and get out on the perimeter.
You saw the improvement, but Lewis, really it's been the last couple of weeks, including a game against Cincinnati, when you feel this offense really came to life early in the game.
It absolutely did. It was sparked by George Pickens. He was the guy who, as Cam Hayward said, broke the dam for them, and everything started flowing after that 86-yarder that he took to the house.
Pickens in the slot, not yet featured on 3rd and 3. Rudolph will launch downfield. This is Johnson, but it's over his head. He's being chased by Brandon Stevens, and it's 4th down with 5 seconds to play in the first quarter.
What you like, though, about Mason Rudolph is the fact that, look, he identified one-on-one coverage on the outside. Deontay has been stretching the field a lot more recently instead of just running the short to intermediate stuff. When he had a step, it's a little overthrown.
Harvin boots it high, and so short that it's going to bounce and roll dead. And this Baltimore offense, as we begin the second quarter here, will be backed up with poor field position. Get him off in time, so there was a flag. The gap between the quarters, and given choice to Tomlin here. Brad Allen has been in the news this week. He's the referee.
Slightly.
So who's on the field, who's eligible, those have been talking points.
Yeah, they sure have.
Long conversation here. Visited with Tomlin, and now Let's get to John Perry, who knows about these things. We were focusing on other stuff in between the quarters, John. What is the procedural issue that both coaches are now being informed about?
Yeah, the conversation with both coaches is regarding, hey, how did this get fixed? Because the flag came so late.
The
on-field official
get off the field by the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty is assessed as we start the second quarter. It's 4th down.
So John, so they'll re-kick it.
So coming after that, it's the offensive man. Excuse me, I think I might have said defense, but it was the 12th man on offense. And the downfield official, which is 40, 50 yards downfield, asked the replay official upstairs, hey, did he get off or not, which makes it a replay assist. They created the 5-yard penalty, re-kicked, and the explanation was, why isn't this a challenge? Because it falls under the replay assist rules.
Kurt Shea is the replay official. John, thank you for that lengthy explanation. We'll get a replay of the punt. And, these conditions, if you get an opportunity, you want to make your opponent.
Anytime there is significant ball handling involved in a play, like there is here, where you have, a long snapper getting it back to the punter, there's always a risk. There's always a risk, and these are two very special teams intensive organizations. They take this phase of the game very seriously.
Snap caught cleanly by Harvin, who gets a poor punt away. It's off the side of his foot and kind of rolls out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Just a 26-yarder, so make him punt it again if you have a chance, right?
And that penalty looms large now. That first kick was inside
the 7.
At the 7-yard line, and now it's going to be spotted somewhere around the 35, 36. So we're talking 25-plus yards, 30 yards of a field position, and Lewis brought it up early. Field position is going to be massive in this football game as we keep going.
It's massive for Todd Monken as he calls plays perhaps much differently now, trying to get this offense sparked in the 35 instead of the 7. Melvin Gordon trying to work his way to the edge. He gets there and now spins back, picks up about 6. Talked about Lamar, who's kind of chilling on what is his 27th birthday weekend, but he will be laser focused on the job the next time the Ravens take the field.
Yeah, and he's the likely NFL MVP. The numbers, while they're very good, don't do justice the meaning of what he has for this offense this year. And I just think he's gone to a new level. He's really a phenomenon in the NFL in the aspects that he can do. They bring in Todd Monken, their new play caller, and he in many ways has taken Lamar to a completely different level.
Gordon again near the marker. Yeah, Harbaugh's been around for a long time, as we said. Really felt like it was an honor, almost a pleasure, a joy to coach a guy like Lamar Jackson in the prime of his career.
It sounded like Coach Harbaugh has a viewpoint that while the impact on the football field is massive, it's significantly bigger than that. Like, Lamar is an unbelievable talent, and Lamar wants to go win the Super Bowl, and he knows kind of the impact on, again, not only football, but
sure,
in many ways society.
Even though this is a profession and it can be a brutal business, there's a personal connection between these two, between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, and he wants to see to it that this young man reaches his potential.
Gordon loses the football after the Ravens pick up their first down. They fumble it away, and Pittsburgh will take over in plus territory. Ogunjobi comes up with the football, and the big man jogs down to celebrate.
To this game, he had 26 total fumbles, 18 fumbles lost. Well, now he has 19. And what did we talk about at the top of the show? The Pittsburgh Steelers defense, as they walked into the room yesterday and we were talking to them, said, look, ball security is something we are going to try and exploit today, especially if it's bad weather. And for Melvin Gordon, it has just been the boogeyman for him during his career. That issue with being able to apply the points of pressure to the football and hold on to it.
It's been tough. J.K. Dobbins, Keaton Mitchell out. The running back room depleted. They have signed Dalvin Cook, who'll come over from the Jets and join this team for the playoffs to help out. Meanwhile, the Steelers from the 45. No problem with their running game so far. Najee Harris just ran through a tackle and runs out of bounds after gaining enough for a first down.
You just see consistently Steeler white jerseys getting great position on the edge, running their feet, not letting guys get off blocks, something Coach Harbaugh talked about, and Najee is just rolling.
In this run game that we've talked about, the early parts of this game, their goal really is to get Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren on corners or safeties. They're just trying to put a body on a body and let those guys break tackles.
Again, it's a Baltimore defense without Roquan Smith, who's the tackling machine, the emotional leader. Kyle Hamilton expected to be healthy for the playoffs, but scratched today. Maryland Humphreys down to a corner.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it. If Baltimore has their guys, that's the best defense in football this year. I mean, this defense.
It was a snap infraction. Offense number 61. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down. There is no foul for too many players on the defense, as there must be a legal snap.
This defense, when they're healthy, has the strongest spine in the NFL, meaning they are built up the middle. Matt Abike and Michael Pierce, and then those two all-pro linebackers, Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton. If they have their guys, Pittsburgh is not running the ball, at least early on, the way that they have so far.
Number 1 in points allowed, number 4 in yards allowed. A great red zone defense. Steelers went right through the red zone defense for their first touchdown. Harris kind of bounces off contact right at the line of scrimmage when Phillips couldn't grab him.
It really is an interesting philosophical shift that you've seen Pittsburgh undergo now. Because for years, there really was a lot of question about why were they such a lateral football team? Why were they trying to attack the C and D gaps and run so many jet sweeps and really run a laterally oriented offense?
Right.
Why weren't they more vertical? And now that they've become that, you just see like the production has just jumped through the roof for everyone.
Rudolph gets the ball to Warren, and Warren navigating his way through traffic, picks up about 5. Millette got him down.
It's a great job by Mason Rudolph, though. You're going to get a little bit of pressure, and then you're going to get Jalen Warren to just sneak through. I love how quickly he gets his eyes back to Mason Rudolph. Patrick Queen replaces. Give me your eyes right now, and Mason does a fantastic job to at least give yourself a chance on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 here. It's really important. Mason Rudolph, no sack. You're in somewhat fringe range for Boswell. George Pickens one-on-one to the left side of the screen. If that stays the case, ball goes to 14.
What's interesting, like you see the safety already creeping over. The corner comes up, safety creeps over.
Rudolph dumps it down to Warren again, and he'll be tackled short of the marker. So a 9 of 11 start. Ravens say the ball came out at the tackle. Huge pileup. Baltimore's convinced they have it. No signal yet. And it is going to be a fumble recovery by Millette. Steelers still pleading their case and debating that over there on the sidelines.
Just another great job of punching at the football, this time by the Ravens. I think it was Delshon Phillips, 53. You're going to see him just intense.
Rick Danilowski, Laura Rutledge with you in Baltimore. You see the exchange of fumbles there. Ravens get the ball back. Great job by Phillips, the right hand right to the football.
That's so good. It's so good. That has become such a practice skill in individual periods around the NFL, and you can see why, especially on a day like today.
The Peanut Tillman punch.
Yeah, man.
The head-on punch right there.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have perfected it too. Absolutely perfected it.
So the Ravens running just 9 plays so far, picking up 20 yards and 1 first down. Much needed takeaway by the defense. Steelers begin to kind of lean on him with the running game. Huntley on the move, looks back to his left and thinks about taking off, and will throw a low ball which bounced. A couple of throws to Hill have been short on by Huntley. Back to Lamar Jackson in the brilliant season. He was in full agreement with Harbaugh, by the way, to sit out today and get his mind ready for the playoffs.
He's leading a different offense. You know, he's been the 1 seed before 2019, but that offense needed a very specific way to win in the playoffs. They had to get the lead. They had to be able to continue to run the football. And part of the reason why Lamar, and I said this season, and he's gone to a different level, is it's a way more spread out offense. Lamar has way more control of the line of scrimmage. He has the ability to check in and out of plays for this football